Aya! Welcome! Time to look at some more Blu-rays and DVDs added to the collection today. We've got really a mixture of BBC comedy and BFI released movies, but there is some overlap between BBC and BFI here, but we'll get onto that. It's not comedy, but you'll see what those are. It's stuff that came out on the BBC back in the day, but has been released by the BFI's Blu-ray arm. Right, we'll get cracking with the DVDs, and there's two here that I wanted to reacquire for my collection. As I used to own them years ago, I would have sold them prior to one of my numerous house moves, at least kind of 15 plus years ago. And I'm talking about I think it's 2009 or 2009 revival of Shooting Stars, and then the follow-up series, which is definitely from 2010 because it's got the 2010 date on. I always loved Shooting Stars, although I've never considered myself an absolutely massive Reeves and Mortimer fan. I have seen bits of stuff. For instance, I remember way back in the 90s, a friend at school sold me his Vic Reeves Big Night Out Live VHS, and I did watch that a few times, even though I don't recall ever seeing the normal series. And I've seen the odd episode of things like The Smell of Reeves and Mortimer. What else have they done? House of Fools, I think I watched maybe not all of that, but most of that. That's quite a recent-ish thing from Vic and Bob. Shooting Stars is always my favourite thing that they've done though. A panel show, comedy panel show, I mean they're kind of 10 a penny now really. Certainly if you watch Channel 4 at certain evenings, or You and Dave. That came about in the mid to late 90s originally, and then it took a break for many years, and then late 2000s it came back. Just to give you a quick look at the discs here, but nothing really much to say. I did watch these DVDs quite a bit when I first owned them, and I've always fancied getting them back into the collection. I'm not going to speak too much about any of the stuff that I'm going to show you here, just to try and keep this video moving along fairly rapidly. The prices, one of these was I think around 11 and the other one 12, with a little bit pricey for second-hand stuff on eBay, and all the stuff I'm showing you today is from eBay, by the way. Some people were trying to sell, particularly this series, I think, for considerably more. So I'm glad I got both of these for, well under £15 each, really. Both of the comeback series of Shooting Stars. Right, we can move on to the BFI movies now. And this one here was very cheap. I think including postage, it was about £3 something. It wasn't one that I would have paid really even more than a fiver for, but I think certainly for little over £3 it had to be worth the punt all day long really. And it is The Great White Silence. It is a dual edition, so we've got the Blu-ray and the DVD in here, and this is a film from all the way back in 1924. So yes, this film, or at least the original version of it, is 102 years old this year. This particular re-release of the film has a musical score by Simon Fisher-Turner, but I'll read a bit of the bump out. Herbert Ponting's official record of Captain Scott's legendary expedition to the South Pole, restored by the BFI and featuring a new musical score by the aforementioned Simon Fisher-Turner, captures in breathtaking detail the alien beauty of the landscape and ensured that the heroism involved would never be forgotten. So the BFI National Archive have created a restoration using the latest techniques that they had to hand, and there's the usual plethora of special features. Also booklet inside as well. There's the Blu-ray and the DVD behind. To say it's like a silent film, or silent but with a new musical score on it, it's quite a long film. It is 108 minutes. So it's going to be kind of very early attempt at a nature or adventure documentary, really. And you won't have got many of those filmed in Antarctica back in the day. I think quite a groundbreaking thing, really, this. and the music on it just kind of adds to the ambience of the whole thing. This Blu-ray DVD double set came out in 2011, looking at the copyright date, so a relatively old release now. Maybe quite an early foray into Blu-ray for the British Film Institute. But that is the South Pole 1920s adventure documentary, The Great White Silence. The next one, from a different eBay seller, a bit of back and forth with this, and ultimately after some negotiating with best offers and what have you, I ended up paying £5.50, and I believe it was free postage. But this one, another fairly old film, not quite as old as Great White Silence, but this is Murder in the Cathedral. This just really intrigued me when I saw it, and there again, wasn't much at all. But it's an adaptation of T.S. Eliot's classic verse drama, and it recounts the love-hate relationship between 12th century British monarch Henry II and the Archbishop of Canterbury, Thomas Becket. And it features a cast of mainly non-professional actors, including the voice of T.S. Eliot himself, and music by the internationally renowned composer Laszlo Lafia. Set in 1170, filmed in 1952, so a black and white film, 114 minutes, so about 6 minutes shy of 2 hours here. It has had some water damage at some point in its life, this release, and the case isn't in great condition. The little bit that holds the Blu-ray, it is a dual format with a DVD as well, that's broken, and unfortunately the booklet, a lot of the pages are stuck together, but at the price I'm willing to put up with that really. It's a bit of a shame, as I don't think I'm going to be able to read this properly without basically tearing it to shreds, but at £5.50, and one that I haven't really seen elsewhere other than eBay, I'm sure you can get a new non-water damaged copy from probably Amazon, other eBay sellers, HMV, etc. for more than £5.50, but I just thought, no, I'll get this one, and I'm looking forward to seeing Murder in the Cathedral. The next two releases, both from the same seller, and these were auction wins, I think. These are the big ticket items really, and they are the ones that I'm most excited about out of the whole lot here, even above Shooting Stars. I've had my eye on these for ages now, certainly the best part of a year, which is really when I started ramping up my BFI collecting. I wanted to get them a little bit under, at least, the price that I kept seeing them brand new for on HMV. I can't remember the exact auction end price, but one of these was about 18, the other one maybe 17 or even 16. It is the, I think, 3 Blu-ray sets, Ghost Stories for Christmas, volumes 1 and 2. So here's where the crossover or the overlap between the BFI and the BBC comes in. Not BBC comedy, but these were, you know, feature-length films, or maybe not even quite feature-length, if you want to be literal about things. I am assuming that they're not literally brand new as to when I bought them, as there's no cellophane or anything, but I think probably the previous owner maybe only watched these once each. I'll read the bump on the back of Volume 1, and I think the Volume 2 description is very similar. Broadcast in the dying hours of Christmas Eve, A Ghost Story for Christmas series was a fixture of the seasonal schedules throughout the 1970s and spawned a long tradition of chilling tales that terrified Yuletide viewers for decades to come. And included in this release are the first 4 instalments, Whistle and I'll Come to You, The Stalls of Barchester, A Warning to the Curious, and Lost Hearts, of course all newly remastered from the original film materials. And also included on here, I don't know if they class it as an extra or not, is the remake from 2010 of Whistle and I'll Come to You. So you can watch the original and then a much more modern remake. The ones on Volume 2 are The Treasure of Abbot Thomas, The Ash Tree, The Signal Man, Stigma, and The Ice House. And also included are the later adaptations of View from a Hill and Number 13, which I think are quite modernish ones that would have been shown on possibly BBC 4, I'm not sure. Obviously not really the right time of year to be enjoying some ghostly Christmas tales, but I've been fancying these sets for a while. I recently finished watching the Play for Today box sets. Wonderful stuff. I mean, I'm still absolutely thrilled as to how cheap I got those, especially with them being brand new from Flashback Records. Volume 1 in particular is outstanding, but each volume has got at least a couple of really excellent stories or plays on films, basically TV films. And this is in a similar vein really, but obviously, you know, everything's kind of Christmassy and spooky, and it's going to be kind of gothic horror for the most part, one would think. Loads of special features on here. I'll just give you a quick look at one of the sets. Slipcase for both, booklet, and then 3 discs. Tells you what stories or what episodes are on each disc. I'm really happy that I got these. The saving as compared to getting these brand new somewhere wasn't massive, but it was good enough. An eBay auction's always an exciting thing to be involved in. My favourite things, at least before I've kind of watched everything and judged it, but what I'm most looking forward to watching at some point in the coming weeks are volumes 1 and 2 of the BBC's Ghost Stories for Christmas. We have another compilation here before we get to a couple of mail openings. This one was very cheap. It is the Best of British Transport Films, the 70th Anniversary Collection. So this is a 2-disc set. Don't think this ever came with an outer slip case. It may have done. Obviously, I don't have it if it did. No booklet either. I thought I'd take a chance on this because it was so cheap. I'm trying to remember how much this was now. I think it was around a £5, to be honest, including postage. I'll read some of the info. British Transport Films was established in 1949 to focus a spotlight on transport as a nationalised undertaking. Over a period of more than 35 years, BTF produced an unrivalled documentary legacy for generations of film and transport enthusiasts. And this new 2-disc Blu-ray compilation, it gathers 21 films, and they stretch from 1952 all the way to 1978. And there is a couple of special features as well. So 2-disc set. I don't think any of the films are going to be particularly long really, just looking at the amount that you get on each disc. But that suits me, as you don't really want to sit through like a 2-hour film about a train or something every time, do you? You just want something that's, like the train itself, quite speedy. So I learnt after I bought this that this is technically really volume 1, so I had to go and find volume 2 really, didn't I? And that's what's in here. This is from Music Magpie on eBay. I was able to use, I think it was a 20% or maybe 15%, I can't remember, coupon to get some money off. So this ended up costing, with free postage, just over £9. And now this one is new and sealed still, and it does have a slip case as well. So I'm wondering if this one should have done originally too. Not to worry though. The British Transport Film Unit was established in 1949. It's essentially the same description, but it's obviously talking about other extras. And the films on here are dated between 1950 and 1982. So there we are. Volume 2 and technically Volume 1 of the BTF collection. I'm not a transport guy or someone who's massively interested in modes of travel. I'm certainly not a Top Gear viewer, bloody hell. I do like documentaries, I love documentaries. I do like BFI remasters and releases, and I do like those sort of public information and public service films that were prevalent in the kind of mid to late part of the 20th century. So I think those two are going to be quite a pleasant few hours of viewing really. Finally, another mail opening. This also came today, also from eBay. Everything's been from eBay here. A box set that I won an auction for this. I think I was the only bidder actually, which I was a bit surprised about. Although this is second hand, and there was a lot of photos on the auction listing that showed that the box itself was a little bit tatty. That didn't bother me because I saw the price of this brand new And I think HMV, if they had it in stock, which they hadn't, were asking upwards of £40 for this, and then I ended up getting this for, including postage, well under 15. Great saving made here. And it is 3 films by Ken Loach. The box actually doesn't look as tatty as the photos made it look, really, to my eyes anyway. Just got 3 films by Britain's most lauded director of the past 30 years. Not my words, the words of the British Film Institute. Ken Loach. In Riff Raff, Glaswegian jailbird Stevie, played by Robert Carlyle, heads to London to find work, but discovers a world of corruption and degradation. Inner city poverty is brought to the fore in Raining Stones, as unemployed Bob, played by Bruce Jones, desperate attempts to afford a communion dress for his daughter result in a succession of disasters. And Ladybird Ladybird is inspired by real events and is the emotional story of a woman's fight to hold on to her children and her relationship in the face of bureaucratic indifference. There's also the Film 4 logo on. Unusually for a BFI box set or just a BFI set, we have got the 3 films individually cased up within the box, and of course we've got a nice glossy booklet as well. But unusually these are in like a slimline Blu-ray case, which I like. I don't know why more things don't get released in these really ultra slim cases, but there's Riff Raff, Raining Stones and Ladybird Ladybird. Show you one of the discs. Delighted to have got this at such a good price. The box doesn't look that bad really. You can tell it's not new, but who cares about that really? It's the content within that matters. You always get some quality essays and notes in the BFI booklets that they release. So yeah, that's the last thing to show you today. The Ken Loach triple set here of 3 films that I think maybe go a little bit under the radar, certainly in his oeuvre. The dates of them, by the way, only range between 1991 to 1994. So 3 90s Loach films there. So that's all the stuff, mostly BFI, but we did start out with some Vic and Bob. I want to say thank you for watching today, with special thanks that go to my wonderful subscribers and generous patrons. I'm going to go now. A lot of stuff here that's going to keep me busy well throughout the month of April, although as you're watching this it will be the very end of April no doubt, and maybe I will have got most of this watched, time dependent of course. If you've seen any of this stuff or you're interested in any of it, do let me know in the comments, and until then I will say my goodbyes and ask that you join me once more for my next DVD and Blu-ray collecting video. Cheers everyone. See ya!